So we are here for the final instalment of our Union Boss series, and I've got an odd feeling that you're going to benefit from this one. Now, just like all the other ones, I'm going to talk through all of the abilities quickly and some of the mechanics to look out for with this boss. I'll show you some of the teams that my Union has used, along with my own team, and then talk about some potential replacements and do a bit of theory crafting, which we all love. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hello everyone, Ragewood here, back with another Etheria restart video, and as we said in the intro, this is the last of the 5 Union bosses that we're going to be looking at now. So we're going to go through, the abilities first, but before we do that, I just want to say that obviously when I'm recording some of these, sometimes they are the first boss, sometimes they are the second, sometimes they are the third. The third one will be a lot more difficult than these first two. So whilst what I'm saying works in theory craft and things like that, don't hate yourself if you don't get 100 first time round. Heck, I don't get 100 a lot of the time. So, just stick at it, improve your gear, and then eventually we can hopefully smash this together. With that out of the way though, Union Worm Odd. Same structure as everyone else. We're going to have an AoE, then a single target, which will likely place an attack up or some sort of strength buff on him, followed by 2 more AoEs and the passives. Now the passives are going to be the same. We'll just get them out of the way. Every 2 turns he takes, he gets a self upgrade, which increases the damage he does. He is Wink to elements of the counter affinity, which is going to be green in this case, and then his other one, it will be different. So, Spatial Whirlwind, 2 hits, 300 damage. Each hit has a 60% chance to place Weakness Gaze. Now, Weakness Gaze is one of the 2 things that essentially we're going to have to base our entire comp around in a way, alright? What I'll do is I'll do a quick run in a minute, just to show you what that does, along with the second ability, and then we'll come back to teams and things. Converging Stream deals 600 damage to a single target, and he gains Heart Barrier. Now, instead of the attack up, we're gaining Heart Barrier. Again, I'll explain what that is in a moment. Black Hole, an AoE to all enemies with 100% chance to inflict 2 stacks of Weakness Gaze. His fourth ability is this is the Defense Ignore one, 600 damage to all enemies, ignoring 25% of our defense. For every stack of Weakness Gaze the target has, the defense breach is increased by 25%. So, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that flat 25%. That is just there. And if we have 3 stacks of Weakness Gaze, he's going to ignore 100% of our defense. So it's vitally important that we get rid of these during the fight. You can dispel them, but when you dispel, you only get rid of 1 stack. Just bear that in mind. And then the last passive that we didn't cover, when you're attacking him, we get a 75% damage increase, but for every stack of Weakness Gaze we have, the damage increase ratio decreases by 25%. So if we've got this on us, we do less damage and we take more from the fourth ability. So, as I say, crucial we get rid of that. So what I'll quickly do, as I say, I'll jump into a run just so you can see what those 2 abilities do, and then we'll come back to Union teams. So here we are then. So Weakness Gaze. Each stack reduces the target's damage dealt by 10%. Stacks up to 90, so we can get a total of 90% damage reduction that we're physically doing. So again, it's vitally important that we get rid of that. And then we have Heart Barrier. So Heart Barrier reduces the damage taken by an additional 25%. This effect cannot be stolen. Now this is a yellow buff that the boss gives itself, okay? You used to be able to dispel it, not just steal it. You can't do that anymore, which is a massive pity. Now when it comes to block, I can't remember if we can block it, so I'll just quickly show you the Weakness Gaze and then I'll run a quick Heinrich just to see if we can block it too, but I don't think you can, but I'd rather prove it so you can actually see it. But yes, that is what they both do. So if we quickly run the battle, just going to manual it for a moment just so we can put the immunity on ourselves. So here we go. Yep. Smack, smack. So as you can see, you can immune it, which is great. And then we'll wrap back round to Linglo one more time. Hopefully she dispels it so you can see what I mean. So we've got 2 stacks on Tiamat there. And then we're going to purify. And as you saw, it purified 1 at a time. So just bear that in mind when it comes to getting rid of them. You want multiple dispels or instances of dispel. For example, like Doki Doki Backup or Linglo's Whale Prayer passive there. Anyway, quickly show you the block as well. Right, so we fast forwarded in time. Now we're just going to do the ultimate, hopefully place that block. We do. Fabulous. Just manual through. Yeah, there we go. Come on. So, yeah, so as I thought, you cannot stop this heart barrier. So it goes on and it stays on there for 4 turns, it appears. So again, just to bear that in mind, that during this time we are going to do less damage to the boss. 4 stacks of it. Crikey. 100% less damage? Surely not. No, it doesn't appear that way. Or maybe it's 1 stack for 4 turns. I'm unsure. I'll have to play with it a bit more to figure it out. But yes, you get the idea. So now we've gone through that bit of confusion on the heart barrier. I can't remember if that was, say, placing for 4 turns right there, just to confirm that. So to avoid any confusion, it's a 4-turn heart barrier of 25% damage reduction. So it looks like you're only going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 1 turn window to do full damage. Whether you want to meticulously plan and craft to optimize that is up to you. I personally wouldn't bother, especially at level 2. So, Union teams then. Now, just like a lot of these Union boss fights, there is a certain well-performing person in each role, but they can be interchangeable. Now, if we start with damage dealers, you'll see a lot of people are using Ditting. Ditting is very easy to use. He has turned out to be one of the hardest single target damage dealers in the game. Since Victor nerf, he shines bright. And he's an SR, so he is fabulous to build. As you can see, one of my colleagues here is using Jadar. Jadar is also very nice, especially if you pair with like Valerian or other lots of buffs. Between Linglo, Freya and Lily, she's going to get that Soul Flames pretty quickly. We do have a Rosa down here as well. Very good boss hunter killer. And she is of neutral affinity as well. Chloros, perhaps at stage 2 you might be able to use him, but he is Reason, so I'd avoid it if you can, but obviously if you have no other option, by all means just use what you have. But outside of that, you're going to see usual suspects. There is a Messiah thrown in just there. Now, Rulmoka is a damage dealer. She is green, but her kit doesn't really go too well with this particular fight. She shines amazingly in Doki Doki, but I'm not sure how well she does here. Obviously, it's done all right for Ricky here, but even though she is the strong affinity, I don't know if she's the one doing the damage. I suspect it's the Ditting. Hoyan is another option you could use. She is a single target damage nuker, primarily for PvP, but because she's getting the 100% damage increase, she could be sneaky good in this fight. Outside of that, though, say, that's kind of it for what we've used, but as you can see, most people opting for Ditting here. Rosa would probably be the second option with Hoyan. If you've got her and you've used her here, let me know how she does. And then outside of that, yeah, that's it. Now for stage 3, something you can do is something that Apple has done here, and that is bring in Rahu, and you can use him as a soul damage dealer in a way. He does hit very hard, so to stage 3. So if we're in this position where your odd is your tier 3 boss, do consider using Rahu. He is very good. You might need to manually play it with a Lily, but if you can get the twin trick on them just to go, you can get it to work. Maybe not optimal manually playing, but it's an option. Debuffers then. There are 2 that shine bright, and you have probably seen them throughout as we have scrolled down. That is Kloss and Freya. They are both positive affinity. Kloss is good everywhere in PvE. I don't need to tell you that now. It's probably been flogged like a dead horse. Decreased defense, decreased speed, damage amp with the hack in. She is mwah in this fight. Freya also providing more damage amp. You're pairing them together very nicely. It works very well. But Freya is not just a debuffer here. That Dreamweave is actually going to work wonders when it comes to defending against the weakness gaze. Now, Dreamweave, some people call it a purify. I don't. I think it's more of an immunity. And it will stop 2 instances of debuffs. Now, if he's trying to place 2 stacks of weakness gaze, that's perfect. Again, you might have to manually play it to time it up, but it works just fine on auto, and the damage amp more than anything is perfect. Linglo is the support of choice. Oh, sorry. Quickly, back to debuffers. RC77's neutral affinity, attack down, defense down. Dinah also has defense down, but she is negative, so I wouldn't suggest that. If you just want defense down, Grey could be a great option here because he is kind of like a pseudo DPS with defense down. You build him with crit rate 2 playset, so he could perform very well here. Just none of us have used him because Kloss is the queen. Anyway, supports. Linglo is a fantastic healer. Yeah, there's nothing too much more to say really, especially if you've got her passive up with the Whale Prayer lasting for 2 turns. And the debuffing, it all just flows very nicely for this fight to passively purify. Sania is another option with the passive purification, but you kind of need to build her to go really quick and with really high HP to get the dispel off often, which might not be optimal for her. Linglo, best in shot slot here. You do have Chiaki the Echo and Mia, but they are both negative affinity. And then finally, we've all got Lilies for speed boosts, except for Apple here. Lily is great, speed up, reduce cooldown, all that good stuff. Mio could be used as a speed boost, but not ideal. And same with Kazami Kazuyo, but she is negative affinity, so I wouldn't recommend that. If I didn't have Lily, the person I would use, probably in conjunction with the Freya, is Chiaki down here. Now, Belle using her to great efficiency here. I loved Chiaki the Echo. I loved her in the beta, but I've got a Lily, so I don't use her very often. But she is incredible. Ave Maria pushing turn meter, and she's giving increased attack. And she's also got a Purify as well on her skill 1 here. So it's only 1, but it's useful. So there we are. You can use Chiaki the Echo as your speed booster. Right, all of that stuff out the way. Let's go into my run. And let's see if we can get anywhere close to 100. I haven't done this yet. I don't think my Freya's geared either because I'm running Nico Nana in the background. So we'll see what options we have. I don't have a Ditting leveled, and my Kloss has no gear on her either. So I might just borrow someone's Kloss. No. What shall we do? None of these supports hasn't got a shell on it. What have we got here? 100% with a gigabyte. Sure, you will do. And do we have a Freya with a shell? Unless we can find a gigabyte. That will do. No effect accuracy for the nightmare though. We'll keep searching. Black Flag might be better. I do like the Artisan, but we'll take the 46 Freya, and we're probably going to run with it from there. We'll swap that Kloss actually with this one, and then we're going to put it on auto. I'm going to leave it here, and I'm not going to min-max or try to min-max. So just going to leave it here and see how we get on. So we have taken our sweet ass time with this one, but we have got it done. I probably should have just borrowed a Ditting really. It would have been 10 times as fast. But there we go. Tried and true Jadar getting us through it. So before we sign off, I guess I'll just show you the gear on the champs, just to give you an idea on the builds. So I do have Jadar in a Harvest, because it's really good with her. Harvest Fury, so she ignores defense when they're above a certain HP threshold. Really, this is better in PvP rather than PvE. I probably could have put her in a Keen Eye, but the shell has Harvest, so that's probably one change I would make. Put her in Keen Eye or maybe even Momentum with the Fury. But yeah, we are crit capped, and we got a decent amount of damage. My Lily is just in whatever speed gear I can get on her, because again, this is a PvP build too. And then who else did I have? Linglo. Linglo, where are you? Now I have Linglo in a Bulwark gear set, again for PvP. But yeah, as you can see, reasonable speed, reasonable HP, not ridiculous. I could level that up, but that would take too much silver. And yeah, that's kind of it. So the Kloss, if I do have a saved build for a Kloss here somewhere. So that's the kind of build that I have on mine. Again, this is built for Inferno dungeons more than anything else. But as you can see, it's kind of like 170 effect accuracy, decent amount of speed, and some decent substats. I have mine in a Dark Moon to give me that increased effect accuracy to begin with, but also to extend the duration of the decreased speed and the decreased defense. Lily is just in a Gigabyte because that's what I've got. Linglo is in a Supernova. However, I don't know if this is the best option long term. It does increase her healing, but again, could potentially swap this into maybe like a Gigabyte or a Fortissimo. And then Freya, the one I had borrowed was in a Black Flag. Mine's in a Jackal Guard. It's the same thing, just a little bit better. And yeah, there you go. That is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you have found this useful. And yeah, we have talked about a few replacements. I'll go over it quickly now, just in a quick summary. If you don't have a Lily, Mio brings increased speed. Doki Doki would actually be my top pick if you don't have Lily, because the backup also works as a cleanse and it purifies 2 debuffs, I think. Yeah, 3 when it's stacked, 2 when it's not stacked. Okay, so this could be really, really good. Yeah. So Doki is a great speed choice here for getting rid of the weakness gaze stacks. Mio would be maybe 3rd choice, and then Kazami Kazuyo last because she is weak. Freya works as a damage amp, the same as Kloss. I used both of them here, but Freya also brings sort of pseudo immunity. Other options for immunity is obviously Ling Lo. Hellkid has a sound barrier, but again, weak affinity, so I wouldn't. I would avoid it if you can. Again, if you can't, then that is fine. Catchy the Guard could be another nice option. Also increasing your debuff duration if you've built him right. So Catchy the Guard would be another nice option if you don't have Freya for the immunity, or even Ling Lo. Let's say you don't have either of those. Catchy the Guard could be very nice. Valerian is a nice support option too. Chiaki the Echo, obviously speed booster, another nice one. Instead of Ling Lo, if you don't have healers, Sania would be my next choice, followed then by regular Chiaki down here. And then replacements instead of Kloss, as I say, I think the best option, direct swap, is Grey, wherever he is for the defense down. Then RC77 because he also brings attack down. And then failing that, use whoever you can, whether that is Rahu on his skill 1. Jadar has it as well, for using Jadar as your damage dealer. Various options there. Speaking of damage dealers, say Rahu can work. Hoyan, I think, is actually a real sneaky choice here. So, potentially could work. Jadar is what I used. Rosa is another option, but I am missing her. Born in a pinch, but the number one choice by far is Ditting. He is incredible. Again, mine is just level 45, and I'm waiting on one more red lattice. And there we are, folks. I think that is everything. So as I say, hopefully you found this all useful. Weakness gaze is the one we need to build around mostly, so make sure that you've got immunity to stop it entirely, or you've got some sort of purify. Failing that, outside of that, usual fundamentals, and it's a bit of a doddle. So take care, look after yourselves, work hard, but as always, play harder. And I will see you in another one soon. Cheers.